Welcome to the first episode of our podcast. I'm here with Charlie Mathis. It's great to have you.
Hey guys.
I'm Charlie Butler.
Yeah,
Got a lot to talk about. Stove's been hot.
for sure. Yeah, well, it's good to be here, Charlie, and we're super excited.
Appreciate it.
First episode. We've both been writing for Sandman for a bit, and I guess we figured it's time for the two Charlies to step in the booth.
Exactly. This needed to be done.
Yeah. So why don't you start us off, Charlie?
All
And
right.
where do you want to go first?
Um, I kind of want to talk about some of the more recent stuff first. Of course,
Uh-huh.
today we had Jeff McNeil's trade that
Mhm.
broke like probably an hour ago our time. I think that's pretty big for both the Mets and the A's, in my opinion. How do you feel about that?
Well, I can't say I didn't see it coming out of the Mets because you had a bit of a packed infield. I think there, especially with getting Marcus Simeon. I honestly I think the Mets are going to Met is like what I would say. I think like for me, this says a lot about the A's, right? Because you're a small market team, you're moving to Las Vegas. I think this shows that you're willing to be competitive. You have Nick Kurtz. A lot of times, a smaller market team would cash in. Oh, we're going to trade him. It's like you have a guy built around him. I think that Jeff McNeil, Nick Kurtz, Jacob Wilson. I think that's about as good of an infield as you can hope for, especially at the spot they're at. And then the other thing is like I think Jeff McNeil's obviously past his prime, but he's by no means a non-factor. So if I'm an A's fan, I'm pretty happy about this. You gave up, some 17-year-old kid, get his name, but he was some 17-year-old Jordan Rodriguez, a right-handed pitcher, and he's not a top 100 prospect. So I think, it's not an expensive contract. They're getting some money back in the deal. I like it for both teams, frankly.
I think it's good. You bring that veteran presence in. We know the A's have
Mhm.
this young core now, obviously Nick Kurtz and Jacob Wilson. So I think just building off that, this is a good trade. I think McNeil has that ability to be that leader for this infield, and I'm kind of excited for it. Of course, with the Mets, we know they have the ability to develop these prospects. So you take the 17-year-old kid, I think he's going to do
Mhm.
fine in the Mets system. So I think it's a win-win trade on both sides.
For sure, yeah. If I'm a fan of either team, I'm pretty happy with where I'm at. I do wanna go to the Mets. I think this is a good time to go to them. How about like the Mets have been super active. Like I want to start out with the relievers stealing Devin Williams and Luke Weaver from the Yankees. I don't know. Like it seems a little like they're crosstown rivals, and obviously if you're a player, it's nice because you don't really have to move. But it just seems like you could have just re-signed Edward Diaz, as far as I can tell, because Diaz
Oh,
signed for
huge.
3 years, 69 million to the Dodgers, and then Devin Williams and Luke Weaver are that's 73 million in contract. So you're paying them a bit more, and it's like I don't know. I feel like I'd rather have Diaz because I don't think Devin Williams is a sure thing at this point.
No, I
Um,
don't know if he's gonna be able to get back to where he was with the Brewers. I don't know if his confidence
for
is
sure.
shot. I'm hoping maybe going from the Yankees to the Mets. Obviously, like, the Mets are big, but they're not Yankees big, and that's a
Mhm.
lot of attention on you that you might not want, especially at the role of closer. That's already the most pressure position in the game, and on top of that, you're in the biggest market, pitching for one of the biggest teams in sports history. So I'm hoping that he gets his form back with the Mets, maybe a little less pressure, and he'll be right back to doing what he did with the Brewers.
Yeah, and that's another question too, is will like I'm curious how they're gonna use him and Luke Weaver because Luke Weaver's a guy, right? Former St. Louis
Yeah,
Cardinal, although when he played in St. Louis, he wasn't
was my
quite
big.
at the top of his game. But are they gonna compete for that closer role? Is one guy gonna be the setup man? Like I'm sure that's your eighth and ninth inning there, but what I've seen these past 2 years, like I'm not sure if I'm confident in handing Devin Williams the ball in the ninth inning. I
No,
might rather see Luke Weaver with it. So I
at this point,
I
I
don't
would
know, will that
rather.
competition help him or will it hurt him?
I think it'll be a good thing. I'm looking at the Mets, and I'm thinking they're gonna do maybe like a two-headed dragon type of thing early in the season. Maybe have them both
Mhm.
close some games, and then eventually you can move one into the more setup role. I think 3 years, 51 million for Devin Williams. I think that might have been a little bit of an overpay. I mean, obviously last
Yeah.
year, how he normally is with the Brewers. I think maybe they could have gotten him for a little less, maybe a 2-year contract, kinda like what we saw out of Luke Weaver, maybe a little more money than that, but I don't know, I think the Mets were kinda scared after Edwin Diaz kinda went away, and they thought that they needed some more bullpen help, so they went out and got the Yankees 2 guys. So I will see how that plays out.
Yeah. I find one thing I find interesting is the not re-signing of Pete Alonso,
That was
because
crazy.
the reports are he signed with the Orioles for 5 years,
Mhm,
155,000,000, and,
mhm.
like, that's all it takes,
Yeah,
he was gonna be he's what I think he's the all-time home run leader, you
yeah, in
know,
Mets history.
in all of Mets.
The Mets are
Yeah,
gonna realize
and
what they lost real quick. They're gonna
I
realize that they
agree.
made a mistake. I think that they needed Alonso. He was integral to their
Mhm,
lineup. He goes well with Lindor as, like, a big power guy. You get Lindor on, get him in with Alonso. I think it's a huge misstep by the organization to pass up on him. So, like, at least offer him a contract. I from what I had seen, they didn't offer him anything, which with a guy like that, a franchise favorite, the polar bear, he's a lovable guy. He's the guy who gets tickets bought and people in
mhm.
seats. So, I just don't get why they wouldn't make a pass at him.
Yeah, and it's not like he commanded a ton of money from the Orioles either. I mean, if you're the Mets, you can shell out 155,000,000
Yeah,
over
Steve
5
Cohen's
years.
throwing
If he
money
was
at anyone.
asking for
Yeah.
175, yeah,
Like, you just got all that money. Steve Cohen's buying golden toilets. He can throw a little bit more money to get polar bear, you know? But
yeah,
it's
for
just
sure, I
it's really
agree, and
weird.
I think you lose the fan base to some extent
Oh,
with a move like that, and, good for them going and getting these relievers, you trade for Marcus Simeon, but it's like you're letting Pete Alonso walk,
it's a
and,
big
like,
part.
I agree with trading Jeff McNeil, that's fine, but he was also franchise guy too.
Mhm.
He kind of
Flying
was gonna
squirrel.
be a longtime Met, and I guess if you're a younger player, it shows that they're not a super loyal, front office, which, I don't know if in a player's mind that means much. It's business after all, but if I'm a player, that's something I'm looking at.
I think another thing, talking about the Mets, Lindor, we've heard a lotta news out of him that he's been having fights with his teammates,
Mhm.
and that is really interesting. I think that that could kinda reflect on what the Mets have going right now. I don't think that they're where they wanted to be. They didn't do what they wanted to do in the postseason this year,
Yeah.
so I don't know if that reflects anything on Lindor having some problems with his teammates.
Yeah, and you wonder to what point it will get. Will Lindor request a trade? Like, is he I don't know if he's gonna want out. And if you're the Mets, you gotta start winning, quick. You gotta have some postseason success. And that's why letting the polar bear walk, I don't really quite get.
You got Soto locked up for 15 years at this point too. Like, it's
Exactly.
how long can he take the Mets being the Mets? I feel like a guy like
Mhm.
him, he wants to compete, he wants to win. He's been on a World Series roster, and he's been with 2 pretty highly regarded organizations with the Padres and the Yankees. I mean, he's been to the World Series. I just don't know how long he's gonna wanna take it for that long. I mean, granted, he is getting paid, like, almost $1,000,000,000, so that makes it a little bit
Yeah.
more easy on your stomach. But, yeah, that'll be interesting to see how he'll, react to all this.
So, you wanna go Minnetonka Murakami next, is
Yeah,
what
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
thinking. My first thought, good for the White Sox,
Yeah,
right?
great.
Because people were projecting him to sign for way more. I mean, this really kinda resets the market,
Yeah.
honestly, for international hitters.
Uh, I think it's interesting. I heard talk that they were looking at Murakami more as a prospect, that he was a, like,
Mhm.
MLB ready hitter, where we've seen Otani, he was getting being talked about like he was gonna be the next big thing, where I feel like Murakami in the front office mind is gonna be a guy that they're gonna try to develop more, and I could really see that happening. I mean, you look at what he did in the World Baseball Classic and in the, Japanese league, and he's something special. I think he really could be a great power hitter for years to come. Just hopefully he figures it out with the White Sox, and, the White Sox can continue to not continue to compete because they haven't been competing for a little bit, but, begin to compete. I think
Mhm.
him and Luis Robert, that'll be very cool to see. I think that they'll work well together.
Yeah, I think they've got a pretty good young core, and if he turns into the guy, in Chicago, that could be a big deal. But I also see the other side of it, right? The ceiling is just so high, so tantalizing. I mean, he's got 80 grade power, true
Yeah.
80 grade power.
And
56 home runs. He breaks the home run record in the NPB, and at 20, 25, 26, I think he is. Like, that's just but then again, the contact issues, and we've seen guys from the NPB come over. Pitchers do a lot better than hitters do.
mhm. Oh, for sure.
I'm not sure why that is. I think they're not used to I think the average fastball velocity in the MLB is like 93, and at the NPB, it's just above 90 maybe, and so I think that that makes a bit of a difference. So those contact issues is that's just a big question mark.
Yeah.
But I don't mind the White Sox as a landing spot
No.
for him.
No. I think that's big for them more than anything. I think that it means a
Yeah.
lot to their franchise and to their fans. It kinda shows them, "Hey, we're not really done yet. Like, I know we've been written off for the past couple years, but just let us
Mhm,
rebuild." So I remember in around 2020 when they had that core where people thought the White Sox were the future, and then that just kinda went
mhm.
away. And I think that this could be the beginning of, like, that coming back. We're gonna see Murakami here on the White Sox, and hopefully we're gonna this is the team of the future. I don't think they're gonna be good in the next 5 years, but beyond that, you've got some guys coming up that I think will really make an impact.
Yeah, and you've got a really strong farm system. I like that infield. I like Colson Montgomery came
Oh,
up and he hit a little bit in a cup of
mhm,
coffee in the majors last year. I like Kyle Teal. Like, I think it's a good core. And the other thing is like the White Sox, they suck. They suck
oh, yeah.
bad.
They're not great.
But you're not gonna write them off for the rest of history. Like, when are they gonna get good?
Yeah,
It's only a matter of time, right?
I
It's
can
only a
see
matter of
them.
time until front office figures it out.
I think they're gonna do kind of an Orioles thing, where the Orioles were so
Mhm.
bad for so long, and now they finally have their Gunnar Hendersons and their Headley Rushmans, and eventually, Mayo and all those guys coming up, and they're really gonna make an impact. So I think that we are gonna see the same thing out of the White Sox. They're gonna really suck. They're gonna
Yeah.
stock up on those draft picks. They're gonna get some good guys, and then they're gonna develop into a playoff contending team. I don't know how soon that's gonna be, but I could really see it happening. Especially with such a weak division too. AL Central has never really been that, like, AL East or NL West. It's a division that's, like, very up for the taking. I mean, really all
Oh,
you have is
yeah.
the Twins and the Tigers who honestly, like, they kinda did the rebuild thing. They've got Skubal now. If they develop those guys, then the White Sox for sure could be at the top of the division soon.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you mentioned the Orioles thing because I think, the Pete Alonso bat is just huge,
Oh,
for
yeah.
this lineup. I mean,
Sure.
you look at this infield,
It's
I see
insane.
Pete Alonso, I see Adley Rutschman, and I see Gunnar Henderson, and if Jackson Holiday is who you think he can
Mhm.
be, and Samuel Basallo at
Oh, yeah.
DH or switching time with Gunnar Henderson, I mean, that is good. And who do they
Yeah.
have playing third base? I guess it'd be Jordan Westberg, and he's by
Yeah,
no
West's
means
been great. I mean, they also have their farm system is still stacked, I mean, from whenever they were tanking.
Mhm.
But, I mean, you look at their projected lineup, and it's just there's no holes. Like, there's nothing that
Yeah.
I can see that's like, "Wow, this guy might have some problems." I think their biggest thing is for sure going to be the pitching. That was a problem last year, it's gonna be the problem this year. I
Mhm.
mean, they traded Grayson Rodriguez to the, Angels, and that was
Yes.
kind of wild to me. I couldn't really see that coming. I mean, you knew that he's the guy that, like, was supposed to be the future of their pitching staff, and now
Mhm.
he's gone. So it's kinda wild. But, I mean, he was shut
Yeah.
down, and he was gonna not pitch till 2027, so hopefully he'll figure it out.
Yeah, and I understand, the trade there. Like, I also couldn't see it coming, but I think they've done a good job, so they trade for Shane Baz, from the
Yeah.
Rays,
Uh,
and you've got Corbin Burns still in the number 1 role. I still wanna see him add a bit, but I really don't mind it.
no, not at all. I think the Shane Baz pickup too. I think he's such an underrated arm. Nobody really talks about him in the way that we talk about these other pitchers, but I feel he's gonna be an impact player. He's gonna be a guy that the Orioles are gonna really look at. If Corbin Burns can do what he used to do, then Baz will be a great 2, but I could see him really being the ace of that lineup.
Yeah, and it's good to have a true one. I mean,
Yeah.
there's not many true ones in the league, and Corbin Burns is a true one. Shane Baz could be a one on another team.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, he wasn't great last year, granted, but he's
Mhm.
shown that he can be that guy. I mean, you look at his 2024 and he only started 14 games, but in those games he was great. He was lights out. If he can get back to that level, then I think that that'll be great for the Orioles, great for their lineup, and great for their playoff chances. The only issue is that they're in a stacked division. I don't know if they're going to get past the
Mhm.
Yankees or the Blue Jays. I mean, the Blue Jays just got Dylan Cease, which is a big signing for them.
Yeah, I mean, how about those moves? I did see something that I really liked. I'm going to bring up where you have Trey Savage, and he's got
Uh-huh.
like the highest release point,
Yeah, they
in the
got
major leagues.
Rogers now
And
coming
then
down by his shoelace.
exactly,
Like, how do you go
yeah,
from one to the it's
talk
wild.
about switching it up on a hitter. So I really like that.
I
I'm a
did like
big fan
a
of
lot.
that.
Yeah. I think he's Savage has one of the highest ceilings in baseball too. I mean, we saw what he did in the World Series and in the playoffs, and that was lights out. I mean, if you can do that for an entire regular season, then that's one start every week that is gonna be tough to get a win out of the Blue Jays. So I think that,
Yeah,
they're making the right moves. The Dylan Cease signing to me was pretty crazy. Cease, like, he's shown that he has been that ace, like, he's that guy. But, last year,
for sure.
that was where he kinda showed some issues. He was serviceable, he wasn't great. He's always been that high strikeout guy. You know he's gonna strike out 200 batters a year, which I think will be huge
Mhm.
for, the Blue Jays want this year. But their rotation is really gonna be stacked. I'm just really hoping that Cease will, be that next guy to step up and get them back into the playoffs and maybe a World Series again.
Yeah, because we've seen Cease be a true number one, and I mean, I kinda loved the Jays World Series run.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of it. I like Cease. I think Cody Ponce is a really interesting signing.
Mhm.
He was that guy who I mean, he was just horrible as a young guy for the Pirates, and then he went and dominated in the NPB, and it's like, you think he's got it figured out. I
Mhm.
think that's a pretty good signing, and I think
Yeah.
he can surprise some guys,
I
because those
mean,
pitchers that come over from Japan do well.
yeah, you look at Eric Fetty, for example. He came from
Mhm.
Korea. He won the Korean equivalent of the Cy Young there, and he had good success in the MLB. Granted, it was only for season or two until he kinda fell off a cliff. As a Cardinal fan, that really hurt, but, I mean, if he can get that success, I think Ponce will be great. Hopefully he'll have a, Eric Fetty style run where he'll transfer it back over to the MLB.
Yeah, and, I'm glad you bring up the Cardinals. I like to talk some Cardinals, because
Yeah, of
we've
course.
got some movements. We're both St. Louis guys,
Uh-huh. Yeah,
so
but
that's Wilson Contreras. It seems like it's just a whole fire sale with the Cardinals, and
yeah,
that's what
that's
the fans expect, I think,
what we
and
need
that's
right
what
now.
we want.
Uh-huh.
Because it seems like we were toeing the line for so long,
Oh,
and it's
yeah,
like
I mean,
cleaning house.
yeah, I like it. I mean, it's always been I feel like the Cardinals have been scared to rebuild for so long. You expect to win for so long. I mean, you've got 100 years of tradition, I mean, plus, and going into it, it's kinda scary. I mean, when have the Cardinals ever rebuilt? Never. I mean, it's always maybe
Yeah.
1 or 2 down years, they're back in the playoffs, they'll go on some miracle tooth and it'll be David Eckstein all over again. But I think that this rebuild is gonna be huge. Again, going back to the Orioles, I'm hoping for that Orioles style rebuild where we just stack up on young guys and then we make a run. And I think that that's really what we're doing. I mean, we got Blaze Jordan last year, which I remember that. I think
Mhm.
that he has a high ceiling. I know that he was eligible for the Rule 5 draft, but I don't know. I don't think he got picked up anywhere. But
Yeah, he wasn't picked.
okay. Yeah, I think that's good. I think he could really develop. But that again has been the Cardinals' issues. I mean, I can't think of a prospect in the last 10 years that has really developed a real homegrown guy. I mean, Jordan Walker, everybody expected him to be this great ball
Oh, yeah.
player. He hasn't really performed to expectations. You look at Dylan Carlson, another guy, supposed to be
Yep.
him. He was supposed to be Cardinals next. I don't know. He's like almost JD Drew type switch hitter. But I mean, really, what did he do? Nothing. He traded him immediately. Matthew Liberatore, nothing. So I'm just hoping that our development can improve. And I think that really starts with Brant Brown, our hitting coach. I think that we took the strides last year. Hitting got a lot better, especially
Mhm.
Donovan. which next trade target.
Yeah, exactly. Donovan most likely on the way out, and there's a lot of infield trade candidates, but I might also even put Tyler Neal, in that camp, frankly, and he
Yeah, yeah,
kinda
for
did
sure.
it, but his physicals are there. I mean, he has the speed of Usain Bolt, and, his dad is a Canadian powerlifter, and,
Mhm.
they look the exact same. I mean, the guy's chiseled from stone.
Bodybuilder.
He's a toolsy outfielder,
He's a
and he
big dude.
just never turned into what he could have been.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
never
but
used
I
that
like
that talent, which sucks if he battled injuries.
Oh, yeah, yeah, big guy battling injuries. I like Bloom, and I like what he's starting
Oh,
to do. I think we need to clean house. There's something else I wanted to touch on. What was it? Yes. So I guess the report was that the contracts for Goldschmidt and Arenado, we kind of overpaid at the major league level, and that took
mhm.
some development money away for coaches at the minor league level, which may have been, the last 10 years or 5 or 10 years worth of development may have been
Mhm.
because of that, which I can see 100%.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you're getting the best corner infield in baseball at that time. I mean, who wouldn't overpay
Mhm.
for that? I mean, you've got Gold Gloves on both sides. You've got great power, great I mean, just great hitting, period. I mean, I would overpay for that. I think any general manager in the league would overpay for that any day of the week.
Yeah.
So I'm not really mad about that. I just hope that the
No.
development gets.
Yeah, and I think Donovan is on his way out. I
He's
mean, I think I would put him at 95% chance
Mhm.
he's traded. I mean, they're looking for the right deal, but they're gonna get it
They're gonna
because he's for real good. And I wanna see Arenado gone too. I mean, I love
yeah,
him. I love everything he's done for this
uh-huh.
city, but like
He just has to
like
go. It's time.
exactly. The Cardinals were no longer winners
No.
right now. And that's okay, but he is still a Gold Glove third baseman.
Mhm. He's
Perpetually, he
mhm.
will be. I think he will be until he dies.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I wanna see him paired with like a Framber Valdez, a guy who pitches to light contact, and I wanna
Yeah,
see him in the hot corner
uh-huh.
with guys who don't get strikeouts, guys who put the ball in play. I think he would be of great value to a team like that.
I mean, you're really looking at the Brooks Robinson of our generation. I mean, what
Mhm.
team want that? I mean, the guy's just a vacuum at third base that has such big value. I think it's almost underrated how little we value fielding almost, especially at the hot corner. You know, he's out there making plays that I mean, 90% of the guys in the league won't make. So I'm hoping we get a good return on that. Hopefully, some young guys. I mean, um, I'm trying to think of, like, potential trade, like, places. I know that the Yankees were kind of in on him for a little bit last year, but
Mhm.
they ended up going after Ryan McMahon. It's kinda hard to say where he's gonna land. I feel like he kinda fits in anywhere.
I hope I think if he's traded this offseason, it's gonna have to do with Alex Bregman, because
Ye
the Bregman sweepstakes right now, I think the main candidates are the Blue Jays and the Cubs, and the Diamondbacks actually kinda getting a few looks
yeah.
at him. Of course, I'm a Cardinals fan, I hate the Cubs, but if I'm the Cubs, I'm happy with Matt Shaw. I
Yeah.
think Matt Shaw
I
is
mean,
great, but
look at what he
if
did last
they're in on Bregman, I think there's gonna be a team that really wants Bregman, and I hope that he just goes for such a high number that someone says, "You know what? We'll just trade for Nolan Arenado because the Cardinals
Mhm.
want him out. He he wants to go to a winner,
Yeah.
right? He does have no trade clause, but I
Well,
think
last year with the Astros, declined a trade
yeah.
from them, so, I mean, he's not afraid to use
Mhm.
it either.
With Bregman in mind, you wanna talk about the top remaining free agents and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
good fits for him?
So, it kinda also goes along with what you're saying about the Cubs going after Bregman. If I'm the Cubs, I would pass on Bregman. You know, I think he's
Mhm.
shown that he can still do it, not being on the Astros. He had a great year with Boston, all-star, but right now, their biggest issue needs to be re-signing Kyle Tucker. He's way too valuable, way too good of a hitter to not want back on that team, and they're gonna make a mistake if they don't go out and get him. And if they don't get him, then they have to go for Bellinger, which is another can of worms altogether.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Cubs, big market team, I think they're in on one of the 2 of those, and
Yeah.
I think the Yankees are trying to re-sign Bellinger. I think that's their
Yeah.
top priority at this point.
I think it should be. It has
Think
to be.
I think those 2 outfielders go to the Cubs and the Yankees, honestly, and I think it's gonna be hard. I think
Mhm.
they'll probably resign would be my prediction, I wanna think of, a guy like pitchers. Like, I feel like there's a lot of good pitchers left. Zach Gallen, people
Yeah.
reported that he was gonna be a Cub, and then I guess
Oh,
that deal or that rumor fell apart.
whatever count
But there's a
fell.
lot of good pitchers. I've got Tetsuya Ime, who's probably the best pitcher available right now. He
Mhm.
dominated in Japan. Ranger
Yeah.
Suarez and Framber Valdez, who are both older, but they both kinda showed they could still do it too, and their velocity's still there. And so I think they're
Yeah.
guys that could sign 3-year deals and be a true middle to top of the rotation starter for any team.
Yeah, for sure. Do you think Zach Gallen still has it though? He's shown that he's not necessarily that guy the last couple
Yeah,
seasons, but he was
let me
dom
let me pull up his baseball reference yet again. I've been looking at him a lot,
he's an
recently,
interesting
but,
case.
the
Like,
way I
why do you
think
rate this guy?
he he really is. I think he's really interesting. This was the first season, since 2021 that he posted above a 4 ERA, but I think
Yeah,
at
he has
his
yearly
worst,
5.
he's an innings eater.
Uh-huh. I mean, he had 192 last year. He threw 200 in 2023, which he dominated in that year. He placed 3rd in Cy Young voting.
Mhm,
I think the question with him is just if he can continue doing what he had done previously. I mean, 2024, he was pretty good. Like he wasn't bad, but 2025 he kind of fell off a cliff almost, where it's just like you
oh,
see
for
those numbers
sure.
go down, and I wonder if a change of scenery, getting him out of Miami is going to do him some good, or not out of Miami, out of Arizona. I think that
Yeah,
that'll be big for him. It'll really help. I think Chicago would be a great spot for him to land.
mhm.
They need some pitching, and he would be the guy to kind of build back up, get him his confidence back, and really dominate in the league.
Yeah, I think, we've seen some of these, get right deals. We saw especially, Bregman's the most recent example. You sign a long-term deal with a buyout after or with a player option after year 1 or year 2. And so if in your first year or 2 you just explode and you're the greatest player on earth, then you can opt out of your contract, essentially cash in, and then get a
Yeah,
bigger deal. And I think that's what we're gonna see out of Gallen because they know the guy he has been, and, anyone can lose it for a season.
yeah,
There's so much
uh-huh.
parity in baseball. I think he's gonna sign one of these, get right deals where,
Mm,
I bet he takes, 20,000,000 a year for 2 years, and then if he's the guy, then he'll hit the market again, and
yeah,
he'll get a huge contract. But I don't think I think teams are gonna be hesitant because he didn't just there are guys who take a small step back for a season, but
yeah,
he went from, a 3.65 ERA to a
mhm,
4.83
yeah,
ERA. I mean, that
that's
that is
pretty
bad.
good. I mean, a whole point to your ERA. I mean, he had 1 less WAR and more games started too, which, I don't know, it's just it's weird kinda looking at those numbers and remembering what he did in 2023. He's at the prime, spot for a pitcher too. I think,
Mhm.
it's not like it's over for this guy. He's not 36 years old, and it's like it's the end of the road, like, he needs one last hurrah to get his bag or whatever. He's the guy that, I mean, look at Scooble. He's a guy who didn't really come into himself until he was in his mid or, late 20s, and now we're looking at
Yeah.
Gallen, who's just 30. He's got plenty of time to really be
Mhm.
that guy.
Yeah, and another thing I wanna point out, his ERA rose 1.2 points.
Yeah.
And his whip is just right about the same. It was
Mhm.
1.264, in 2024, and 2025, 1.260. So it's the same.
Mhm.
He's just giving up twice as many home runs as he
Yeah.
was. Point 0.8
Mhm.
home runs per 9 innings, and last season, 1.5 home runs per 9 innings. And
Mhm.
so that, I look at that and I think, so his stuff is still there. He's still got the same because the strikeout numbers are also so his
Yeah.
strikeouts, I mean, they went down a little, but they didn't go down
Yeah, you still
1.2
got it.
ERAs worth. It's all the home runs that really did it, and so
Yeah.
I think you can come back from that. If your strikeout numbers go down, I think that's harder to come back from, but I think, how much of that is pitch sequencing. I
Mhm.
don't think it's all physical with him, and so I do have
No.
hope for him, and part of that hope is I want the Cardinals to sign him
Yeah.
because I think he's a cheap guy that we could get at least fairly cheap on one of those get right deals, and and I would love to see him on the Cardinals, even if it's for just a year or 2.
Do you see him kind of as like a Dustin May style signing? Where I mean, Dustin May has never
Mhm.
been to that level, but again, he's the guy who we could develop him really. He's the guy who's gonna come out, you pay him a little contract, he'll stay here for 2 years, hopefully become what he was supposed to be, what he was projected as. Do you think that that could be what Gallen gets, kind of a contract like that?
Yeah, 100%. That's I mean, that's what I would say, and I do like the Dustin May signing for that exact reason, because like, he's also kinda got that potential that he's never really reached, but you know it's there. I think Zach Gallen is like I think I think Dustin May is the Aldi version, and Zach Gallen is the Straws version,
Uh-huh.
to throw a little St. Louis grocery store in there.
Yeah.
So I think Zach Gallen will command more than, Dustin May did, but I think he's 1 year, 12,000,000 with if my memory serves, it's um, a mutual option for, like,
Uh-huh.
20 or 22 the next year,
Yeah.
which mutual options seem a little weird to me because it's like,
Yeah.
alright,
Like you
like,
both.
isn't that just kinda free agency again?
Yeah, just kinda let him go, just whatever. But, I don't know, I agree with you, but I kinda look at it a little differently. Dustin May hasn't necessarily proved himself yet in the major leagues,
Mhm.
whereas Gallen is like, we know he can do it. So I think that Gallen is for
Yes.
sure gonna get a bigger, better contract, but I think they're both kind of the same risk reward in a sense. Like, they both could do the same thing almost.
Yeah, and I think let me pull up Dustin May's, numbers.
Mhm.
He's worked as a reliever and as a starter,
Yeah.
but I think we're just kinda and I could see this, is that Chaim Bloom is gonna take a lot of Red Sox guys. Um,
Yeah, I can see it
like,
for sure. I mean, look at how many
Dustin
deals
May, yeah, and he clearly he's got his guys, and, like, I
he
he turned the Red Sox into really a team that
Yeah.
had a lot of options and depth, and good depth too. I mean, you're talking about Tristan Casas being like your second option at first base, and
Uh-huh.
that's great to have, the trade for Wilson Contreras, and so
Yeah.
I think he's getting his guys that he scouted and liked in the
Mhm.
minors 'cause, I have to believe
Oh,
he
for
was
sure.
in on the trade to get, Blaze Jordan and, getting, like, Richard Fitts, obviously
Yeah.
he likes him, a guy with a little major league experience, so I
Mhm.
think the Cardinals are going about it the right way.
Yeah. I mean, I like that. I like that he's using what he already knows. Yeah, I like the Contreras trade. I mean, he didn't necessarily have a future with the Cardinals, in my opinion. He's getting older.
Oh, yeah.
He can't doesn't catch anymore. That's pretty big on his value. The guy hits.
Mhm.
I mean, that's really all he offers, and at this point, we don't need guys that hit. I mean, you're gonna have these young guys that need to prove themselves, and having old Wilson Contreras there isn't gonna allow that to happen. So I think this allows for
Yeah.
some younger guys to come up, show us what they have, and if it sticks, it sticks. Just figure it out in a couple of years from now, get those prospects.
Yeah, for sure, and I think we're kind of at the time where we ought to wrap this up, so I'm gonna kinda go through these rapid fire.
Oh, for sure.
I think there's a lot of infield left, and so I
Yeah.
want your thoughts on Bo Bichette, Eugenio
Uh-huh.
Suarez, and then some more infield trade candidates, Ketel Marte. I was gonna say Mark Vientos, but I guess maybe with Jeff McNeil on the way
Yeah.
out, maybe he's the 5th guy in that,
Yeah.
infield.
I mean, who the Mets have at third base? They've got I mean, they have Semien they'd have Semien at second, Lindor at short,
Mhm.
first base, I mean, not Alonso, but,
Who do they
I mean,
have?
yeah, I forget who they'd have, but, I mean, Vientos, he's a guy that I could see really making an impact.
Ronnie M Mauric
Oh,
Mauricio
yeah, yeah,
Mauricio.
yeah.
And they're both young
Mm.
guys, it's like
Yeah, they're
that
young.
it's kind of a crapshoot who's gonna turn into the guy there. So
Yeah,
I think they keep him now that McNeil's gone.
they have a lot of
It seems like
options.
everyone it seems like every contender wants Ketel Marte.
Yeah.
Do you have a landing spot for him that you like?
He's hard to really place, you know? It's weird to,
Mhm.
like, say where I think he's gonna go. I know he released his no trade clause teams a little bit ago. I honestly just don't know. I mean, what teams really need a second base shortstop? I mean, he's a great player. Any team really needs him, but what team is gonna make that move? Because it's gonna be a lot. You have to drop a bag for this guy. So you have to look at what
Mhm.
team has the capital, who's got the guys to acquire switch hitting, gap to gap type of guy when Ketel Marte. It's weird. I
Yeah,
don't
and
really
and
value him.
in the past 3 years, he's really turned it on. I'm looking at the numbers right now, 4.9 WAR, 6.8, 4.4, and that's
Uh-huh.
25, 36, and 28 home runs. Like, you don't see that kind of power at
No,
second
not at
base.
all. Yeah. I mean, the last time we did it was Marcus Semien, and he had 40 bombs,
Yeah,
which almost unheard of. I mean, you're looking at a Jeff Kent guy almost, new Hall of Famer Jeff Kent, but,
yeah.
just maybe a little less power, a little less pop, but I'm honestly better than what he could be. I could see Cattell going to a real contender, somebody who's
Mhm.
ready to win now and ready to give up all those young guys. So it'll be really interesting.
Could you see the Yankees in on him?
See, that's tough. They have the prospects. We know that for sure.
Mhm.
I think the question, I think Jason Dominguez needs to be involved if you're gonna get rid of Ketel Marte,
I
which is
agree.
tough because I know he's raking in the a winter league right now, and I like J Dom. J Dom's legit. He's switch hitting for power, and he works really well in Yankee Stadium with those short porches. Just kind of poke him right
He
over.
does.
He
Yeah.
works great. So I don't know if they want to give him up. I feel like that would be what it takes to get him too. I'm trying to think of other Yankee prospects.
I think it would. Him or what's his name, Spencer Jones. Like, I
Yeah,
think one of those 2 guys, if not both, would have to go. I mean, Ketel Marte is
he's
like, he's a
legit.
guy. He's
Yeah,
a guy,
he's a guy.
and I'd wanna see him in Yankee Stadium. I mean, could he
Oh,
hit
imagine losing
40
it
bu
too. Yeah, I mean, he's playing at one of the hardest parks for hitters in Arizona.
Mhm.
You're not gonna hit as many bombs as you would in Yankee Stadium. I mean, a routine fly ball at Arizona is it's like 5 seats back. So, I mean, we'll see. I would love to see him there, but I don't know. I don't think it's really gonna happen. I'm not, like, too high on
No, I
that.
don't.
If it does, I'll be pleasantly surprised, but I'm not really looking
Yeah.
at it as, like, a thing that's gonna be for sure.
Yeah, I think that one's pretty hard to predict. Same thing, I don't know what to think about Bo Bichette, because the early reports were that people no longer saw him as a shortstop, which I
Mhm.
agree with,
I
frankly,
agree
because
too.
like, my shortstop, I want a Gold Glove defense. Like,
Yeah.
that's what you come to expect in the middle infield,
Mhm.
and it's like, yeah, the contact's there, but he doesn't walk. He's
Yeah.
very much like a put the ball in play guy.
Yeah, you want a top of the order guy. I mean, it's really all of that Blue Jays roster. They're all just guys who go out there and put bat on ball and it works. I mean, I
Mhm.
think that's the biggest reason why they made the World Series. And I think Bo Bichette was
Yeah.
honestly integral for that. I think that he is one of those guys who goes out there and puts bat on ball and you know he's gonna give it his all. I feel like honestly, I think he goes back to the Blue Jays. I like him on the Blue Jays, and I think that he can really make an impact. I mean, he just made a World Series. Like, why would you
Mhm.
wanna leave that? He's got a good thing with Vladdy. I don't see him really leaving.
Yeah, I don't see it either, and it seems like the Blue Jays have made it pretty clear that they intend to do that.
Yeah.
I don't think he's the guy who wants to leave.
Mhm.
He I think I see him as kind of a franchise guy there as well,
Uh-huh.
and I think he signs a long extension, but, like, good on Blue Jays, man, for
Yeah,
just
good
shelling
for
out
the
that much money.
yeah, I mean, they have a good thing going right now. I mean, Vladdy's now really turned it on. He's shown that he can be that postseason guy, which it's really hard to
Mhm.
tell who's gonna be, like, the guy to make plays in the postseason whenever you're not making the postseason, but now that they are, he's shown that he's really clutch, which I really like for them. That bodes really well for them. I think a really weird case too is Eugenio Suarez. Like, where's he
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
go? 'Cause he had a great first half with, Arizona. I mean, hit almost 40 bombs, like or he did hit 40 bombs, but a lot of his home run count, most of it came in Arizona, and then his second half with the Mariners just really fell off a cliff, which was really strange to
Yeah,
see. Like, I
and it
mean, he
was
had
really
36
the
bombs in the first half and 13 in the second, so it's weird.
yeah, and the home runs and I think I looked at it earlier, the home runs didn't fall off as much as the rest of his stats did. He kinda
Mhm.
kept hitting them at a
Yeah.
lower clip, but, like, his batting average went from, like, 230, which was fairly
Mhm.
respectable, to, like, below 200,
Yeah.
which that's
Yeah.
That's the most notable to me, but if he's
Mhm.
still got the power, I mean, that's the first thing to go, and if he's still got it,
Yeah,
you know, I think he signs a
but his
2-year
slugging fell
deal.
off too. Like,
Yeah.
his slugging fell off a cliff too. It went from a 5.76 with the Diamondbacks to a 4.28. So it's just I like
Mhm.
I can see him still being like a good power hitter because he's shown he can do it last year, but it's just like, where is he gonna make that impact? Like, where do you think he's gonna go, and who's gonna offer him that contract?
Yeah, yeah, I could see him going. I think, like, I could see him going to a mid to small market team. I
Mhm.
think I could see him going back to Diamondbacks, frankly,
Yeah,
because
I
it's
could see
like,
it.
look, he hit there and he hit well,
Mhm.
and then you got your you cashed out on him to the
Yeah.
Mariners. I don't know if the Mariners are back in on him,
Mhm.
but the
Yeah.
Diamondbacks need a third baseman, and it's like, yeah, you could be all in on Bregman, and he
Uh-huh.
could be great and then leave 2 years later, or you could shell
Yeah.
out a little bit less money for a Band-Aid like Eugenio Suarez, and the
Mhm.
fan base loves him.
Yeah,
So I could
he's a
see a
good guy.
reunion with the Diamondbacks and the Cards.
Mhm. I like the reunion thing because I could really see him going back to the Reds. I
Oh,
mean, the
yeah.
the Reds the Reds missed out on Schwarber, which they wanna spend some money. They wanna go out and try to get a guy. And I think there were reports that they were kinda, like, out of it, or was that the Pirates? It was one NL Central team that was
It
I
was
forgot.
Pirates. Pirates weren't on
Pirates, yeah, the
Schwarber, yeah.
Pirates. But, the Reds, they were in on Schwarber. I think that, they could go back and get him. I mean, they wanted that power hitter, and you got him right here, and he was on the team for forever, so why not go out and
Yeah,
get him? See what happens. You made the
and he's
postseason last year on a miracle, so you need to get better. You need to
mhm.
improve, but how? And I think this is a good step.
Yeah, and Suarez is cheaper than Schwarber for sure, the
Oh,
way
for
I see it,
sure.
and I also think he's more of a DH at this point too. He's not as much of a DH as
Mhm.
Schwarber. Like, you could put Suarez at 3rd and not feel horrible about
Yeah,
it, but
makes sense.
I think he goes to a smaller market team like that because the
Mhm.
bigger market teams are gonna pay the money for Alex Bregman, and, like,
Yeah,
I think Suarez is passable at third base is how I would describe
for
him.
sure.
He's not a Gold Glove third baseman, and he's never really gonna be.
Uh-huh, he's past that point in his career at this point. I
Yeah,
don't think he's got the time to really improve. Just focus on hitting bombs, try to strike out less, and he'll be fine.
mhm. But his bat's good enough that it makes a real impact on
For
a
sure.
lineup. It's not like he's just a guy who fills a role. It's like, no,
Oh, he makes an impact,
he's
like,
a serious hitter.
he put up 49 home runs. He tied his league best. I mean, not his league
Mhm.
best, his, career best. So, I mean, he can clearly do it still at this age. He'll be 34 next year. So I see him going
Mhm.
back out for a 35 home run season, which a guy like that, you really look for that. That's what you want. You want that older kind of he's getting toward the end of his road almost. Get him 35 home runs and he'll be fine.
Yeah. Alright, well, hey, I mean, I think that was a pretty successful first
Yeah,
episode. I don't know
great
about
first
you, but
episode. Yeah, it went
that's
perfect.
all that's all I really wanted to talk about so far.
Yeah.
I think next week, make this a weekly thing, but yeah, thank you everyone for watching. I guess we'll sign off for now,
Yep.
but yeah,
Appreciate you
look
guys.
for us weekly.
Yep. Alright, see ya.